What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Ace's Place 22, where I'm Ace, this is my Place 22, and this is another night of Ace's Thrills and Chills movie reviews. Night number 30. Number 30! We have one more night to go after this. I'm going to be trying my best to watch a few horror movies tomorrow to really wrap it up. With a little bow. Tomorrow is Halloween. It's the 31st. I have to work in the morning. My daughter has a parade. Gonna try to do the live, the Dirty 30 on the 31st. It is the 30th episode of the Ace in the Hole variety show. I hope everybody that's watching this will be there to watch that. Ace is gonna be a little bit tipsy, I think, because I am going to celebrate my Dirty 30 with you guys, celebrating spooky season's finale on Halloween. It's absolutely going to be a good time, so be there for that. But right now, for this, you're going to like and you're going to subscribe, and I'm going to appreciate that very, very much. So thank you for doing that, and we're going to talk some movies. And what are we going to talk about? Well, let me collect what I've got here. So I do believe it was yesterday. These are in no particular order. I showed up at work this morning to find out that they had the schedule wrong. So I got a day off today, which was pretty awesome on that. So I was able to squeeze in a couple more movies than usual. Didn't necessarily sit down to watch them, analytically. But I had them on up here, the background, while I was getting stuff over here ready, trying to get some stuff for tomorrow's live. So, that being said, here are these movies for Night 30, The Devil's Night, for spooky season. I do believe it was yesterday for Night 29 that I watched the first one, which was Joyride, and I had made mention that it's been a long time since I've seen the second one, and I've only ever watched it, I think, once. Now, I can say, reluctantly, I've seen it twice. I watched it earlier. This is the very first movie I watched this morning. I will straight up say the first one is a great quality movie. It is really, really great. The second one is your typical straight-to-DVD sci-fi style movie, and I don't mean like sci-fi science fiction. I mean Sci-Fi Channel movie where it's a fun flick. If you were bored with literally nothing to do, you could watch this and definitely pass some time. So it's not too much different than the first one. Couple of punks come across a car with a CB radio in it. They tamper with it. They end up, crossing paths with Rusty Nail. And hell follows them. That's all I got. Next up is absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I absolutely dig it. I wore this shirt kind of ironically for this movie, which is the Chernobyl Diaries. I really like this movie. I went to theaters to see this way back when, in like 2009, 2010 maybe. I don't have a clue. It was directed by Brad Parker. No idea. Some very familiar faces, recognizable faces in the movie, but I don't know their names necessarily. And it is all about Americans going on a backwoods kind of tour of Chernobyl. Was it France? Is it Russia? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Chernobyl. Russia. Why am I thinking of France? Why am I thinking of Andre the Giant all of a sudden? There is some kind of connection there that my brain is just not intercepting, so we're just going to move on from that. But Chernobyl, a real place in the world that was absolutely affected by radiation, killing tons of people. City evacuated, leaving it abandoned, isolated exactly the way it was, as it was. Sets up a really great environment for a spooky movie. You come to find out that there's more to it than just the town is abandoned. It is a lot of fun. I personally really, really like this movie just for the simple fact you don't see horror movies like this one. And if you've seen it, you know exactly what I mean. I do recommend it. It is a sleeper flick. By that means, probably not a lot of people know about it, but Chernobyl Diaries, not associated with the show that was on Netflix or whatever, but check this one out. Yeah. And then we've got this flick, which is called Hellfest. Came out a handful of years ago. The only real recognizable face in it is Tony Todd. He's not in it very much, and he's not in it for very long, but when he is, it's really well worth it. Hellfest is a movie based on like the theme parks that do, the horror nights for Halloween. It's all centered around that. It's a theme park based on Halloween. People, pretending to get killed and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. Unfortunately for a group of people, there is an actual killer amongst them, and he is picking them off one by one, basically making a trick-or-treat night for himself. Not much to it other than that. It's pretty decent. I would say if you've never seen it, give it a go. You're not going to waste any time watching it. Hellfest. And up next, finally I found these, and I watched the first one. So thanks to TKD Bar for even recommending these. The Critter franchise. Again, I only watched one of them. I watched the first Critters movie. Did not want to invest a whole bunch of my time watching all of them. Critters is... Where do you even begin? If you've ever watched Star Trek Trouble with the Tribbles, where they're just like furry little balls, and they're the most problematic thing in that episode is they just keep multiplying. They're not hostile. They just multiply until there's millions of them, and the Enterprise is just overrun with them. This is essentially the Troubles with Tribbles horror movie edition. These little balls of fur are evil. They're called Krites, critters, as you will. They are from some space region where they are locked up in a prison on like some, asteroid or what have you. They break free and they take a spaceship and they crash to Earth, meeting a family of, just, I don't want to say farmers, but they essentially are farmers. They live on a farm. Very simple folk of the... I want to say the movie is time stamped in the 80s. You got the son, Steve Smith, or Scott Grimes is his real name, but he plays Steve Smith in American Dad, which is just funny to see that. Not a lot to it. There's bounty hunters that are searching for these Krites, and they can change their faces and whatnot, and the scene where it actually changed, like they change their faces, or at least one of them, it's pretty graphic, like, because it's all like real, prosthetic and stuff, but then it has a time lapse, and it's kind of gross. I'm gonna say it like that. It's a fun movie. I can't, necessarily speak for the other three. I don't remember them, but I remember Critters as a little kid, seeing the cover of it, renting it a few times, and then just being like, these things are fucking creepy. And now, let's wrap it up. Of course I'm going to take a drink. And this video is sponsored by this red cup and this clear spoon with some random drink. Get yours at wherever you get things. Now, back to the video. So, as I was saying, these are the movies that I have been watching for the 30th night of spooky season, and here we are. We're going to wrap it up with this one right here. The original, even though this is all three of them, or at least three of them, the original Scream. Absolutely a baller of a movie. Wes Craven, who brought us the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, reinvented horror yet again with the Scream franchise itself. rejuvenating the horror movie slasher genre of the 90s, really putting its stamp on the slasher flicks, because this is what this is. This one's slasher, not really horror, slasher, whatever. I don't know. It's a great movie. Enough said. No, it really blew people's minds. I remember being a kid when this movie came out, and like people in high school, or not high school, but like grades above me, were like, "Oh my god!" Like I remember this. People speaking about how they had Drew Barrymore in this movie, and they killed her like right within the first few minutes of the movie, and people were like, they advertised her. She was supposed to be like the main chick, and blah blah blah. It was a big deal that they did that, and it was a huge risk on Wes Craven's part, and it paid off really, really well. And then it just kind of started the trope of all these movies starting off a little bit like that, with a character you wouldn't suspect to die, and then it becomes quite obvious all the time. You've got Neve Campbell in it, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, Rose McGowan, Jamie Kennedy, Henry Winkler's in this one. Right? Is it this one? I think it's this one now that I'm trying to remember. I don't think he's a college professor. I think he's a high school principal. Who else is in it? Courtney Cox, David Arquette. The names are just all there. They're all there. Great, great casting. Super fun movie. All about an individual seeking the revenge on another individual for events that happened prior in their life. And Ghostface became an absolute icon in horror movie, history. And again, that was a big deal because in the 90s, I can't really think of any character, any horror movie character that was like brand new, that actually maintained, a shelf life. You had Michael Myers in the 70s, and then the 80s, and Jason in the 80s, and Freddy in the 80s. I guess Leprechaun in the 90s, but it didn't, characters like that they weren't a staple. And ironically, Scream today, October 30th, Scream 7 just released a trailer for the up-and-coming Scream 7 movie, bringing Neve Campbell back to the franchise. She was out of the last one due to some disputes, yada yada. But she is returning in this one to face Ghostface. We got Courtney Cox returning. And it honestly